everybody, it's Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. So I'm excited to be back videoing. It's been, I think, a couple of weeks since I posted my last video, and I apologize so much for my delay in getting back to you all. As you may or may not be aware, I have been busy reorganizing my craft room, and I'm happy to say that I'm at a place where I feel like I can get back to my crafting, but I'm by no means finished and completely organized, and I feel like it may be a work in progress, and I'm okay with that. I have put in some brand new shelving, and also the shelving that hubby made me, which I have shared in bits and pieces, and I have some storage on that shelving that is empty, which is really exciting because I get to decide what I want to put in there, and I will talk to you more about that in future videos. But for today, I wanted to pop on here and share some new digitals that I have from JunkWithSteph. As you may or may not be aware, I am on Steph's design team, and I'm excited to get back crafting. Steph has been incredibly patient with me while I've been reorganizing, and I would like to say a huge thank you to Steph for that. And I want to share these digitals with you because I want to get busy and start using them in my crafting. So the first one I have to share is loads of ledger. Now, I will just check that I'm in camera okay. I have kind of popped some markers on my table because it's been so long since I've done a video. My video stand has decided that it doesn't want to sit in the right spot. So I've tried a couple of times to start this video, and my camera slowly shifted. Now, before I get started sharing, I wanted to tell you that I have gone through and selected some of the neutral kits from JunkWithSteph's Etsy shop, and a huge thank you to Steph for allowing me to use your digitals. You're always so sweet, and you always seem to embrace my crazy ideas, and there'll be more about those crazy ideas in my next video. But for now, I just wanted to focus on the kits that Steph has given me to use, and I'm super excited about them. I love neutrals. In case you didn't know, in case you've forgotten, in case it's been a while since you've watched me craft, I absolutely love neutrals. So I'm excited to have a little play with some neutral kits. So this one, loads of ledger. Let's start flipping through. There are a lot of pages in this particular kit, and they are what appear to be scans of whoops, I've got two for the price of one there. Scans of an old ledger, and I love the old handwriting. There is a little bit of colour on this particular neutral set with the handwriting and the ruled lines. I'm okay with that because majority is neutral. And I think there were, from memory, some pages in here that don't have so much colour. It may not be this kit, it may have been one of the others, but like I said, the colour in this particular set is very minimal, so I'm okay with that little pop of colour. I'm hoping, I've got my ceiling fan on, it's very warm here today, so I'm hoping that doesn't affect your flip through. I am flipping through this rather quickly because they are very similar. So you can see here the colour changes slightly in tone, and the background paper is slightly different. There is a little bit more colour on this particular set of papers. This is all in the same kit. I cannot remember how many pages there were. I think there were about 20 pages. It was a huge kit. So giving me lots of choices, some with more handwriting than others, which I really love. I love the old tape showing on these pages as well. Now, I have printed these to fit the page, so there may be little bits that have cut off as a result, so I just need you to be aware of that. If you don't fit to page, I love this old handwriting. I'm also a numbers girl, so they do kind of speak to me in that respect as well. So yes, if you turn your printer page off, you will potentially get more of that handwriting into your print, but I'm okay with that. I want to use them for collaging, so lots and lots and lots of choices in just one kit. I love that there's a blank page, and this one here I'm hoping fits in camera okay, is a full sheet orientation, which is also really fun. Love the number up there. So you can see the one kit has so many choices. I haven't actually looked through these kits properly. I've been busy printing, and I was kind of, because I'm still in the middle of my craft room organization. Sorry, I'm just shuffling my papers back into a reasonable pile. I did have a couple of pages that the printing froze, so I think they were the first 2 pages I printed, but I'll be able to use those as well. And I did have a little mess up when I was printing these. I will share that with you when I get to it. So not unusable, but not what I was attempting to do. That's all I'm saying for now. Okay, so my next Junk with Steph my next Junk with Steph kit is the Coffee Lace on Top kit, and I've been in love with these kits for so long. There's, I think, 3 different sets, and I do have the other 2 coffee sets in my pile of kits to show you. So there is the coffee color theme paper, I think it is, and then the, I need to check because I'm probably going to tell it wrong, Coffee Lace and Script. And I had these in no particular order, as you could probably tell, and I think the other was Coffee Color Theme Paper Pack. So I really love them all, and I've chosen the coffee because it was a more neutral tone, and I really love the way it's printed. So this is the Lace on Top kit. I love it, Steph. Oh my gosh. The variation of colour and that little pop of white, or it's not actually white, it's almost like a muted coffee colour, but it's so much lighter, and I love the contrast of that. So I'm excited to be able to use these in my collage work. Again, lots of pages in this kit, lots of choices. That is so beautiful. I'm so excited to be able to get to my crafting again. I have done a little bit behind the scenes, no ephemera or journal making at all. More toward the organization, and I will share that as I am videoing with you all in bits and bobs. I really want to get back to my actual crafting, so I toyed with the idea of doing a little bit of a video of the organization that I've put in place, but like I said, it's not really ready for show and tell. So I think what I will do is just share little bits as I go, I'm thinking. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, making sure I'm lined up. This one from Junk with Steph is called Vintage 1869 Journal, and again, I believe it's scans of a very, very old journal. It's got some little illustrations here, so I haven't actually read any of the papers. I'm not even sure how legible they are, but I kind of envisage it as being perhaps a sea captain's journal, or maybe somebody working on a ship somewhere with lots of imagery of boats and ocean wildlife, sharks or whales or fish. I'm not quite sure, but Really love the neutral tone of this. It's more of a grey colour, which is steering away from the warmer tone and more towards the cooler tone. And because I am wanting to work with neutrals, I just want a selection of neutrals. I'm not steering more towards the warm or the cool. I just want a selection. And as you move through these paper sets, you may kind of get more of an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, a more recent kit in Steph's Etsy shop are the wallpaper sample kits, and I really loved this one. This is set 2, and although there's colour in this one, a lot of the other sheets are more neutral tones. There were a couple that had colour, which I don't or won't be, sorry, tripping on my words. It's been a while since I videoed, so I'm a little bit nervous. Although there's some colour pops on some of these pages, and I won't be using those in my neutral collaging, they'll be fabulous for other projects. So wallpaper set, sample set 2, love that. And I love that it's a pattern without being a loud pattern. So for me, it's very delicate. The print is very delicate. I'm hoping you can see in camera okay, but they're tiny little flowers. So the fact that the imagery isn't very big and the color is all sort of the same neutral palette, I just love that. It really, really talks to me. I'm not sure which of these papers I will actually use in my neutral collaging. I want to wait and see exactly what I think will work with the papers that I'm using. I just know that there were some choices here that really spoke to me. You'll have to excuse me if I sound a bit croaky. It's really warm here today. As I said, I've got the fan going and it's kind of drying my throat out a little bit while I'm talking to you, so I do apologize for that. I love the deep dark color of this particular background paper, and this one really excited me because, well, I'll talk to you about that while I'm collaging, you'll see. But that color, that richness in color, it just made my heart sing. Really, really did. These kind of papers, they are so me. I like that there's colour, but there's not an overabundance of colour. I can kind of pick and choose which colour scheme I want to use rather than having all of the same colour. Sorry, without having lots of colour on one page, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't to you at the minute, but I know exactly what I'm talking about, trust me. So that was wallpaper sample set 2. Now there were 3 other wallpaper sample kits, but for this particular project that I have in mind moving forward, I only wanted the neutral ones. So now this particular kit will potentially explain a little more of where my neutral tones are going when I talk about marrying the warm and the cool and not being particularly fussy about which color tones I'm using as far as the warm and cool tones. So this particular kit is collage strips, lace and script paper pack, and I love this kit. Love, love, love. And as you see, it has the warmer tones and the cooler grays and whites and even the black or charcoal. Love it. Just love it, Steph. It's so beautiful. So this is from the lace and script paper sets. So it has an overlay, I think, over the top. I did notice this one here has a tiny little hint of color, which I thought was kind of fun. Even down here, but it's barely noticeable because everything else is so neutral. So I really love that. so many ideas in my head, so many things I want to do in the new year. I hope you've all come back with rejuvenated and re-energized thoughts and ideas yourself. I'm just excited to be able to start crafting again. I'm loving my new organization so much. I love the fact that I now have empty storage containers that I can decide what I want to use them for. And I've decided that for some of them I will probably chat to you about what I have and perhaps get your thoughts. And I want to do a little bit of crafting before I decide exactly what I want to put in some of them. So that was Junk with Steph Collage Strips Lace and Script Paper Pack. And now I have the Coffee Lace and Script Paper Pack. So, oops, wrong way. It's very similar to the Lace on Top kit, but it's different. So, I'm hoping I'm relatively straight. Okay. I just love these. I love all of them. I got so excited when I saw Steph list these kits in her Etsy shop, and like I said, there's multiple different colors. They're also fabulous and fun. They make great backgrounds. They will marry up with other kits beautifully, I think. So I love versatile paper packs like that can be utilized. Isn't that gorgeous? Utilized in a variety of ways and not just solely in their own right. That's so delicate, that print. Okay, so that was a Coffee Lace and Script Paper Pack. And then we have, now this one was a little unexpected for me. It is the Lace and Script in the charcoal, and I love it. And I possibly wouldn't have considered using it except for the collage strip paper packs. I'll just get this and show you. So as you can see, it has that beautiful pop of charcoal on the papers, and when I was looking, I decided it would be a really fun contrast to some of the other papers that I have, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the neutrals, but I'm looking for that contrast. So I just feel like the contrast, that is so gorgeous. I love that. The contrast for me really brings dimension to what I'm creating. Now, there's a couple of ways I want to use these, and I'll get to that when I do my next video, because my next video will be me using these. I wanted a little project that was going to ease me back into crafting and back into videoing. Sorry, I just suddenly thought to myself, I better check and make sure that my camera is behaving itself and not shifting on us. Yes, I wanted a project that was going to ease me back into videoing and crafting. So once I decided what I wanted to do, I got really excited, and now I can't wait to get back into it all. So fun. Okay, so that was Junk with Steph Lace and Script Paper Pack Charcoal. And then I have Junk with Steph Vintage Music Volume 1. Okay, and I love these. They're a little bit different to the other backgrounds, which I think just adds a little bit of variety. I was going to say contrast, but that wasn't the right word. It adds a little bit of variety in the papers that I'm using, so I thought these would be a fun addition. I could also use some of my music paper, but I didn't notice that pop of colour on there. Isn't that fun? But I really love these, so I hadn't really noticed the imagery down the side. I think they're gorgeous. It may have been these plainer backgrounds that I was looking at when I decided I wanted to use this kit. Again, this kit has a lot of pages, incredibly generous in the number of pages that it provides you to use. I do tend to love the music paper without the words. It tends to be my go-to when I'm choosing music paper, but I do love that there's a bit of a variety in here. So as I've mentioned, I'm a numbers girl, so I'm also picking up on the numbers on each of the pages, which is really fun. I really love that. Some of these pictures are really beautiful on these pages. That's exciting. It's given me an idea for another way to use these papers that I wasn't expecting. Obviously, I didn't look at this one very well when it was printing because I hadn't noticed them. Oh, just had an idea pop into my head. Okay, let's get to crafting. I'm ready now. And again, I'm moving through these rather quickly. I'm sorry, I hope you can see okay. Oh my gosh, how fun. My worry is I often have these little thoughts that pop into my head when I'm looking at things, and then just as quickly they seem to be replaced with new ideas when I look at something different. So okay, so next we have JunkWithSteph Charcoal Colour Theme Pack. Shift that up a little bit. And again, that beautiful deep charcoal colour on these papers I think is going to be a really fun contrast. I love the grey tones of that one. That's upside down. There's something about a beautiful damask pattern that just makes me happy. The detail in this is so beautiful. That's the sort of thing that you don't see when you're looking at it in the Etsy shop. That's why I like to do these flip through videos, so that you can see the detail in some of the kits that I'm using, because honestly I've looked at these online, so in the Etsy shop, and the detail that I see when I'm doing the flip throughs, it's all new to me as well. Okay, so this is the collage strip standard. Oh, okay, so never mind the word standard. That was for me. There was a reason. So just let me have a look here. Oh, I think this is where I made my little boo-boo. Oh no, we're not there yet. We're not there. So the standard was for me, but it has nothing to do with the kit. Side note, I'll get to that in a moment. So this is JunkWithSteph collage strips. And I love this kit. I love everything neutral. What can I say? Fabulous. Okay, so now we get to the nitty-gritty, where I have to confess. So my next kit is called JunkWithSteph coffee color theme paper pack, and I'm just going to flip you through, and then I will get to my big confession. Isn't that just so fun? Does anybody else love neutrals as much as me? I don't know that they possibly could. That fan is making it a little difficult for me to flip these over without... I feel like I'm looking really awkward. Okay, so to confess. So the first couple of kits I printed, I didn't realise straight away, but I had actually printed them on the draft setting on my printer. So this is actually the same kit, the coffee coloured theme paper pack, except it is printed on the draft setting. So I wanted to show you the difference. That is exactly the same paper, except one is on draft and one is on standard. And when it printed the first time, I looked at the papers a couple of times and I was like, oh, isn't that pretty? I really love that. I had no idea. And it wasn't until I did, I think, my third set of papers, maybe even my fourth set of papers, before I realized what I'd done. And it happened to be a kit that I've printed before, and I will share that with you just so that you can see the difference in the way it printed. But I really love both. So I'm going to see if I can somehow flip both sets at once. You won't be able to see the whole paper, but you'll be able to see somewhat to get an idea of how they differ. And the ones that haven't printed terribly, or they're printed fine, the ones I've printed on draft, I'm thinking could make really fun backing papers for things. So for me, it was just a reminder that it's another way to use the paper kits to print on draft and use them to make the backs of your tags and journaling cards and the like that little bit more decorative. I mean, how beautiful is that? That's so light still to be able to write over, and yet really decorative. I really love them. Even the ones that, I mean, that one there barely has any colour. It's so subtle. And it looks like my printer has needed a little bit of a clean. There are a couple of lines there, but if I use that on a journaling card, for instance, as a backing paper, I don't think that's a problem. So I really love them. And you may be doing something that you prefer a more subtle look. I know the farm journal that I made, I was actually looking for softer tones with things. It was a theme throughout my journal, and anything that I had that was a little bit brighter, I was looking for ways of toning those colors down. So this could have been a really fun option that I just didn't necessarily think about at the time. Okay, so that was one of the sets that I printed in draft as well as in standard. Now you know what my standard was referring to. It was my printer setting. Okay, so there may be a couple more. So one of the kits that I've shared with you before, but I will share again, is this set here, and it is Antiquity, and I really love this set of papers. The deep richness of color in that particular paper, I love that. And I will say, I think that was the paper that I looked at and realized that I had them on the wrong setting, because I printed this kit before and I knew the richness of that brown and how it should print. So I have shared this one in one of my previous flip through videos, but I will be using it for my upcoming project, so I did want to do another quick flip through to share with you. And I will also do a comparison for you of the standard print and the draft print that I ended up with purely through my error, but those rich tones, love them. Okay, so let's see if I can set these up to do a comparison. Oops, I've torn that. Don't know how I did that. So you can see the color tones here. This was what alerted me to the fact that I hadn't printed it on the right setting. You can see the difference. This was what I was expecting, this deep, rich tone, and this is what I ended up with. But I love them both. I mean, it makes that kit, which is exactly the same, seem so different to me, and I really love that. So again, I know that you probably can't see the whole paper, and I apologize for that, but I will flip you through so that you can just see a general idea of the difference in print and tone. Much lighter and softer over this side. And it looks like I'm not quite in sequence. That one is that paper there. And I'm out of sequence again. And that one is the same. Oh, I'm having trouble picking these ones up. And those are the same. And with these images that are much deeper in tone, you can certainly see the difference in the way it is printed, and yet I really love both of them. If I can pick this one up, I'll show you the one underneath. Love them. And I have printed on draft before on purpose, but I haven't done it very often. So I thought I would share with you. As I said, I didn't do it on purpose this time, but they're definitely usable papers, so I just wanted to show you that it is an option. Okay, so the next kit I have to share with you is not from JunkWithSteph, it's actually from RomanticaArts, and I had mentioned to Steph when I talked to her about using her papers that the project I wanted to use the papers for is a challenge that I plan on doing. I'm a little bit late starting, but that's okay. I'm getting to it. I'm excited. And the first challenge had a specific, or the first week for the challenge had a specific criteria. And I'd chosen this particular paper set for that reason. So I'm going to share this paper set with you in this video, but please know that it's from RomanticaArts and not JunkWithSteph. So I think I'll do it this way. And I did also print this particular paper set, you guessed it, in the draft setting. So I will do a comparison. Now this particular paper set is called Damask Papers White. And as you can see, the draft set is so subtle. I'm hoping that you can see there is a print on there, but it is incredibly subtle. And again, I think it would be beautiful on the backing of a journal card or a tag. Oops, I'm struggling, guys, struggling to pick it up. But being a white paper, or white pattern as it's known, I think it will be a really fun contrast with the JunkWithSteph paper kits that I've chosen to use in my future projects. And I'm excited. I'm so excited to get started. I'm excited to start creating. I'm excited to start using a glue stick again, which I know sounds really bizarre, but that's the honest truth. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Okay, so that is the last of my shares, and that means I can now get myself organized and ready to start crafting with you all. So again, a huge thank you and shout out to Steph from JunkWithSteph for all of your patience, for your understanding, for embracing my crazy ideas as you always do, and for all of your beautiful designs. You are incredibly talented, and I am so excited to be able to showcase more of your beautiful digitals this year. I look forward to seeing you all soon, everybody. Please stay safe, stay inspired, and happy crafting. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye for now.